Solve at Coagula is the sacred process of breaking down in order to be made whole. It is the quiet law that governs every spiritual awakening, every ego death, every rebirth, and every moment in your life when you felt like everything was falling apart, only to discover later that you were being reassembled into something truer. These Latin words mean to dissolve and to coagulate. At first, it sounds like an alchemist's riddle, but it is the very essence of transformation, a spiritual blueprint built into nature, healing, and human evolution. To understand this, we must begin with the principle of dissolution. Solve means to loosen, to unbind, to allow something to fall apart. It is the moment when the structure that held your identity together begins to crack. It is the job you lose, the breakup that breaks your heart, the night you wake up and realize you don't believe what you used to believe. It is the illness that makes you stop everything, the restlessness that keeps you from sleeping, the dream that won't go away. Solve is not chaos for the sake of suffering. It is divine disruption, a sacred breaking that allows what is false, stagnant, outdated, or no longer aligned to dissolve. It is a spiritual untying, a melting, and though it often feels painful, confusing, or terrifying, it is the gateway to truth. In alchemy, the stage of solve is the Nigredo, the blackening, the dark night. It is where the ego begins to disintegrate, where attachments fall away. The black crow that appears in many mystical texts represents this stage. In psychology, it mirrors the breakdown or identity crisis that precedes awakening. Spiritually, it is when the soul whispers, "You are not who you think you are." When you are in a solve moment, you may feel like you are losing everything. But the truth is, you are losing only the things that were never meant to be yours in the first place. The friends who fall away, the goals that no longer make sense, the version of yourself that can no longer carry your truth. All of these are being removed, not to punish you, but to free you. This is where Coagula begins, the rejoining, the reformation. Coagula is the phoenix rising, the sacred self returning. It is the part of the journey where the truth of who you are begins to solidify. After the melting comes the molding. After the breaking comes the reshaping. The word coagula means to bind together, to collect the essence, to bring form to what is now pure and true. In the alchemical tradition, coagula is the rebirth, the reddening, the final stage. It is the moment gold is formed. In spiritual terms, it is when the soul becomes embodied, when your higher self integrates into your daily life, when you begin to walk with wisdom, with power, with grace that wasn't there before. It is not a return to the old you. It is the birth of the you that has always been hidden beneath the noise. This process is not linear. You can experience many solve et coagula moments in a single lifetime. Each time you grow, each time you evolve, each time you release what no longer serves you, you enter solve. And each time you find your center, your peace, your divine alignment, you enter coagula. This concept mirrors the teachings of many traditions. In Christianity, the death and resurrection of Christ is a perfect example of solve et coagula. The cross is the solve. The empty tomb is the coagula. In ancient Egyptian mythology, the story of Osiris being dismembered and reassembled by Isis is another version. His body was scattered, dissolved, and brought back together, not as the old king, but as a new god of the underworld. In Buddhist teachings, the idea of ego death and the realization of non-self follows the same arc. In trauma healing, solve at Coagula plays out as the breakdown of old survival strategies and the integration of new self-worth. When you go through therapy or shadow work, you must first unearth the pain, the limiting beliefs, the forgotten memories. That is solve. It is messy, emotional. It brings discomfort. But when the truth is faced and your nervous system starts to heal and you begin to embody new patterns, that is Coagula. This principle also exists in nature. Think of the caterpillar turning into mush in the chrysalis. That is solve. And from that mush emerges the butterfly. That is Coagula. Think of a forest fire clearing old undergrowth, making space for new life. That destruction is solve. The regrowth is Coagula. It even applies to manifestation. You may ask the universe for a new life, and suddenly everything starts to fall apart. You lose your job, your relationships shift, your habits break. That's solve. Spirit is answering your prayer by dissolving what doesn't match your request. Then over time, new ideas, new opportunities, new confidence starts forming. That's Coagula. The spiritual seeker must learn to embrace both. The dissolve and the bind, the fall and the rise, the end and the beginning. When you resist the solve, you cling to what is fading. You try to hold together something spirit is trying to melt. When you avoid the Coagula, you fear becoming who you truly are. You hesitate to anchor your light. But when you trust the process, you allow the divine blueprint to unfold. You become the living stone, the sacred vessel, the true embodiment of wisdom. One of the deepest truths hidden in solve at Coagula is that the process does not make you something new. It reveals what you've always been. It strips away illusion. It peels back identity. It burns the masks. And what remains is soul. The process is encoded in your body. Your cells regenerate. Your skin sheds. Your bones renew. You are constantly dissolving and reforming on a physical level. Spiritually, it's the same. You are a living temple under renovation, not a ruin, but a resurrection. Many who walk the path of awakening find themselves repeatedly drawn into this cycle. Just when they think they have arrived, another layer unravels. Just when they settle, spirit calls for another letting go. This is not regression. This is refinement. Each layer is more subtle, more precise, more divine. Sometimes the solve can feel like a punishment, especially when it comes with loss, pain, or isolation. But if you shift your lens, you will see that it is grace. Spirit unties what no longer serves. Spirit does not take, it liberates. And the deeper you surrender, the more powerful the Coagula becomes. When you come out of a deep solve, you may feel like a different person. You may not recognize your desires. Your friendships may shift. Your habits may no longer comfort you. That is because the new self cannot wear the old skin. You must let yourself change. Let yourself rebuild. Let yourself coagulate. Solve at Coagula is not a one-time event. It is a rhythm, a sacred spiral. Each cycle takes you deeper into your essence. Each death is a doorway. Each rebirth is an upgrade. And here is what empowers the seeker. Once you understand this principle, you stop fearing change. You stop clinging to illusions. You stop praying for comfort and start praying for truth. You embrace the black crow and the golden sun. You allow yourself to fall apart, knowing you will rise whole. The mystery schools of old taught this. The Hermetic teachings encoded it. The mystics lived it, and now, so do you. You are the alchemist and the gold. You are the sacred fire and the sacred stone. You are the one who dissolves. You are the one who binds. And your life is the holy work in progress. Solve at Coagula. Break to rise. Melt to remember. Dissolve to become. This is the way of the soul returning to itself. And it is happening in you now, whether you understand it fully or not. It is not just a concept. It is a living force, a divine current, and it is calling you home.